Hello. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview on how you can provide feedback to students on its learning assignments, specifically by building your own rubrics to its learning assignments, linking standards, and using that as a way to communicate to students how they scored, how they performed, in areas where they can improve. So specifically, it's really important that if you're wanting to use this feature, that you have standards added into your It's Learning course. So reason being, standards allows you to have that button that I'm going to show you that says where you can manage a rubric. So you would need to add that into your course, and that's in your more and then settings, and you can add it there. I have a separate video where you have more explanations on that. So if I go to my resources tab, I would walk through my normal process in building an assignment. So I can click add, or I can click add up here and click assignment. Right? I would type out my assignment description there. Over here is where you have your usual options to set a deadline. You can scroll further down. And this is what you need to do to be able to add a custom rubric to this assignment, is needing to make sure you have standards associated with your course, which is a setup thing in a separate video. So if I know that this explains or is connected to one specific standard, I've already added these to my It's Learning course, then I can go and select them right now. And that is 7th grade 7.1. And I can click insert, and then I can click close. All right, so technically I didn't have to do that piece to have this manage rubric button there, but if I'm assessing for their understanding of that specific standard, it's helpful if you have it listed there for their reference if they get into that. So the next thing, I'm imagining I'm going through all of those. I can set up my score, whatever I want my assessment criteria and scoring element to be, but the main focus of this is the rubric. So if I click manage rubric, there is a window that opens. And since I already associated standard 7.1.1, it automatically populates that right here. Otherwise, I could do search assessment criteria. And if I've built out other options already, then they could be here. I could filter through all of these different things if I have some there already. This would mean that if you're using similar ones from year to year, then you could possibly find those and navigate them and add them there. So here is one that I'd already used, and this was specifically for grammar and spelling, which isn't technically this specific one, but for sake of time, I'm just going to leave that there. So I could list all of these different criteria pieces that show student mastery, a scale of mastery for that specific standard. So I could add additional criteria if I want to have a whole built out rubric. I can do that here. Whenever I am finished, I would click select beside all of the ones that I have if I have more than one. All right. And then I'll click close. And then I'll click create assignment. Right, so it makes my assignment here, and then if I click show, I'll see a little button here that says show rubric, and the students will see this too. So as they craft their response and they work on their homework, they can click show rubric and they will see how I'm scoring them. This could be multiple points listed there if I had built out more than just this one row of scoring. And I can use that over here whenever I go to submit and review their responses. So an example is that I had a student who already completed this, and by a student, I mean a fake student because I don't have students right now and I can't show you how someone scored. So here is a student's response. All right. And over here is where I can open this rubric and I can select their performance here. I can decide the status of this as well. And the benefit of doing this part where it tells you their status on this assignment is if you use the follow-ups and reports feature in your It's Learning course often to drive conversation with your students on things that they seem to be struggling with or maybe things that they're excelling with, this is in alignment with that. It can be a continual conversation point and reflection piece for your students. So once I select the one I want, I'll click close. All right, and the student score is automatically entered there because that's the one I selected. So you ideally want that to match up with your assessment score. I could also type out feedback here. I could record audio so it's more accessible, add files for if the student needs to resubmit it. I can change the status up here and say how their assignment status was. If I select submit new answer, then it opens it up for them to have another submission try. So just know that that opens it back up for them. And whenever I am finished, this discussion space right here is also helpful. The discussion space opens up a two-way dialogue. So the student can respond to me and I can talk to the student, whereas this feedback piece is just purely one way, teacher communicating information. I click assessment, save, then the student can see my score that I just gave them on this assignment. So that is a really powerful way to kind of gather everything on your It's Learning course and use that with your students. Now, there's not grade connection between It's Learning and the PowerSchool gradebook that we have. So if you enter scores in here, they will not show up on the PowerSchool side of things, but I have linked some resources where if you want to explore how you can export information from PowerSchool and then import it into PowerSchool, where you could technically upload those so it's less typing, but it is a couple steps. So I've linked that and I hope this is helpful.